On March, Arsène Jewel, the S&P WooBat closed at Lu by Chisar Lu points. Lehman Brothers had collapsed 6 months earlier. Retirement accounts had been cut in half. Headlines screamed about the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. Most Americans were paralyzed with fear. A school teacher named Margaret did something that seemed insane. She took what dollars? Lien she'd been saving for a house down payment and invested it in a simple S&P WooBat index fund. Her friends thought she'd lost her mind. Her family begged her to wait until things stabilized. And today, that Woordersling is worth approximately WooBat Goldersling. She didn't pick stocks. She didn't have insider information. She simply recognized a moment that comes along once or twice in a generation when fear creates opportunity that transforms ordinary people into millionaires. Most people don't realize we're living through a similar moment right now. The number is E-byte Arthur Sis, $1 trillion. That's not a typo. According to Cerulli Associates' latest research, E-byte Arthur Sis $1 trillion in assets will change hands between now and Arsène Lupin, the largest transfer of wealth in recorded human history. It exceeds the entire annual economic output of every country on Earth combined. It's more than 5 times the current U.S. national debt. It's 8 decades of American economic expansion about to cascade through the generations. Baby boomers currently control approximately 500 USR of all wealth in the United States, roughly $1 trillion concentrated in a single generation. The youngest boomers turn Losar this year. The oldest are approaching Bassers over the next 2 decades. This wealth transfers to their children, grandchildren, and charities. Generation X will inherit approximately Sensor Jolt trillion on. Millennials will receive approximately Cicero Loop trillion on. Even General Z will begin receiving significant inheritances as the transfer accelerates through the Arsène sensors and Arsène sensors. The last time anything remotely similar happened was after World War II, when returning soldiers used the GI Bill to buy homes, start businesses, and build the middle class that defined American prosperity for half a century. That wealth creation event produced the baby boomers who are now transferring their wealth. We're watching history repeat at a scale that dwarfs everything before it. From March, Arsène Jewel through January, Arsène Arshilil, the S&P WooBat rose over 500 Jolbat, recently crossing Ling points for the first time. E-byte invested at the bottom became roughly E-dollars, Ling, but the people who benefited most weren't Wall Street traders or hedge fund managers. They were teachers, nurses, accountants, and small business owners who simply kept investing through their C-byte Ling E-kegs while everyone else panicked. In Arsène Lupin, America had approximately 6 million millionaire households. By end of Arsène Lupin, that number had nearly tripled to almost 6 million. The country added over 4 million new millionaire households in just 14 years, roughly the entire population of New York City becoming millionaires. According to UBS's Arsène Lupin Global Wealth Report, America added, Senbai Chisar Ling new millionaires in Arsène Lupin alone. More than 1,000 new millionaires every single day. Most of them didn't sell companies or cash in stock options. They accumulated assets steadily in rising markets and simply stayed the course. The great wealth transfer adds enormous tailwinds to this already proven strategy. Here's what most coverage misses. The opportunity isn't just about inheritance. Approximately 500 USR of wealth being transferred will come from high net worth households representing only 500 R of all families. Most people won't receive life-changing inheritances. What everyone will experience is an economy supercharged by E-byte Arthur Sis $1 trillion in moving capital. When trillions flow into investment accounts, asset prices rise, benefiting everyone already invested. When heirs purchase homes, real estate appreciates, benefiting existing homeowners. When inherited capital funds new businesses, job creation accelerates, benefiting workers across the economy. The wealth transfer creates rising tides across multiple asset classes simultaneously. Where that money flows matters enormously. Research from Bank of America shows Baifinder Chisharar of investors aged Arsur E to Sisar Sen believe traditional stocks and bonds alone can no longer produce above average returns. Baby boomers favored blue chip stocks and bonds. Their heirs strongly prefer artificial intelligence infrastructure, clean energy, healthcare innovation, and digital assets. Sectors aligned with younger investors' preferences will capture disproportionate shares of redirected wealth as trillions shift hands, reshaped dramatically by geography. Markets attracting younger workers and technology investment will see intensified competition as newly wealthy millennials pursue homeownership. Markets where boomers concentrated may see inventory increases as inherited properties enter the market. The same Weballerling deployed in Austin versus Cleveland will produce dramatically different outcomes over the next 2 decades. Something important about wealth creation events, they never feel like golden ages while they're happening. The period after Arsene Joel didn't feel like opportunity. Constant crisis-dominated headlines. The European debt crisis in, Isha E, government shutdown in, trade wars in, Arsene Isha Pa. Pandemic crash in, Arsene Arsers, bear market in, Arsene Arsher R. At every single point, headlines suggested the rally was ending. Those who stayed, invested, captured every subsequent recovery. Of course, Goldman Sachs research shows the cost of missing just the 10 best market days since Arsene Joel reduced annual returns from approximately Baivinder Shertito, Baivinder Sharar. Missing the Arsur War best days cut returns nearly in half. The best days consistently occur during the most volatile periods when fear is highest and most people are running away. The great wealth transfer will follow the same pattern. Recessions, corrections, and crises will punctuate the transfer period. History suggests they'll prove temporary obstacles rather than permanent conclusions. Concrete numbers illustrate what consistent participation looks like. Cyril A, Sansa-year-old investing YBAP monthly in diversified index funds for Arsur War years. Roughly the duration of the transfer accumulates approximately Lopai Luxor Wool, Lee at historical Baifinder Shur annual returns. At conservative Baifinder Chi, approximately Sipiling Wu Ling, increased contributions to E Ling monthly as careers progress, and those numbers double. Regular people reach millionaire status through consistency alone. The action framework is straightforward. Maximize tax-advantaged accounts first. The Artsenling Arsher Loop, Seabite Lingy K limit is Arsan Wubek with T dollars Wubat, additional catch-up for those over Wussers, max your IRA. Use HSAs if eligible. These accounts let wealth compound without annual tax drag, capturing wealth transfer tailwinds at full force. Maintain broad equity market exposure through low-cost index funds rather than trying to predict which specific sectors benefit most. Build cash reserves for opportunistic deployment during periodic dislocations when assets temporarily misprice. Develop skills serving wealth movement, financial planning, estate administration, real estate, tax advisory, because entire industries will expand to facilitate EBIT Arter Sis $1 trillion changing hands. Consider geographic positioning if flexibility exists, researching where wealth will concentrate versus disperse. Most importantly, extend your time horizon. Think in decades, not years. The transfer spans your years and is already well underway. Short-term market movements matter far less than long-term participation. The timing question always surfaces. People want the perfect entry point. The Arsene Joel bottom seemed obvious in retrospect, but nobody knew it was the bottom at the time. The great wealth transfer has no bottom to time. It's a Arser War year process already happening. The oldest baby boomers are Jolt years old right now. Transfers are occurring this month, this week, today. Waiting for a better entry point means surrendering years of compound growth while capital continues flowing. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. And what strikes me most about both Arsène Lingel and this current moment is how completely public the information is. No secret knowledge required. The Arsène Lingel market bottom was visible to anyone with a brokerage account. The eBite Arser $6 trillion transfer is documented in research reports available to anyone willing to read them. Yet in both cases, most people fail to act paralyzed in Arsène Lingel by fear, distracted today by short-term thinking. Margaret didn't know in Arsène Lingel she was capturing a once-in-a-generation opportunity. She simply recognized that conditions had created unusual value and acted while others hesitated. The opportunity today differs in mechanism but matches in scale. Yeah, millions of new millionaires will be created over the next 2 decades. History will record this period as a defining wealth creation event. You now know it's happening. Right. You know, the scale, the timeline, and the strategies that position regular people to benefit. What you do with that knowledge will determine whether you're among the millions who look back on this period as the moment everything changed